This isn't just trade war, it's tariff warfare on healthcare, and it's reshaping US alliances in ways nobody anticipated. Before we dive deeper into this crisis, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. This story is developing rapidly, and you won't want to miss any updates as we approach the August 1st deadline. On July 8th, Trump announced up to 200% tariffs on pharmaceutical imports from any country not producing drugs on US soil. This sweeping policy affects everything: drugs, blood plasma, vaccines, medical devices, every single pharmaceutical product crossing American borders. The grace period is 18 months. After that, everybody pays. No exceptions. Trump's justification is simple: bring pharmaceutical manufacturing back to US soil. Make America's medicine supply chain independent and secure. But the fallout is far bigger than anyone imagined. It's not just about trade, it's about who gets medicine and who doesn't. When you weaponize healthcare, you're not just hitting economies, you're hitting people's lives. The announcement sent shockwaves through global markets, government offices, and hospital boardrooms. This wasn't a negotiating tactic, this was a declaration of economic war on the global pharmaceutical system. Australia found itself caught directly in the crossfire. As one of the top 5 pharmaceutical exporters to the US, Australia ships over $2 billion worth of drugs to America annually, including critical vaccines and blood plasma products. Most of these exports come from CSL, a blood and plasma giant that operates plants in the US, but maintains its core operations in Australia. But there's a deeper issue at play. Trump isn't just targeting Australia's exports, he's targeting Australia's pharmaceutical benefit scheme, known as PBS. This government program keeps drug prices low for Australian citizens by negotiating bulk purchase agreements and subsidizing medications. The US pharmaceutical lobby has hated PBS for years, viewing it as anti-competitive and unfair to American drug companies. Trump's tariff threat is essentially an ultimatum: abandon PBS or face massive tariffs that could destroy Australia's pharmaceutical export industry. It's a direct attack on Australia's healthcare sovereignty. The Australian government's response has been uncompromising. Treasurer Jim Chalmers made it clear, "We won't raise prices on Australians to satisfy Washington." Australia refuses to bend, refuses to compromise on a system that keeps medications affordable for its citizens. This standoff has pushed US-Australia relations to new lows. These are supposed to be close allies, partners in defense agreements, intelligence sharing, and regional security, but Trump's tariff warfare has turned an ally into an adversary overnight. While Australia fights loud, Canada builds a silent firewall. Canada's pharmaceutical relationship with the US is deeply integrated and incredibly vulnerable. Canada exports drugs to the US and re-imports many of the same medications. It's a complex supply chain that has evolved over decades. The vulnerability is stark: 80 to 90% of Canada's raw pharmaceutical materials come from India and China. If Trump's tariffs hit, Canada's entire drug supply system could collapse. Canadian hospitals could run out of essential medications. Canadian patients could find themselves unable to access life-saving treatments. But Canada's response has been characteristically quiet and methodical. Health Canada has been quietly stockpiling essential drugs, building strategic reserves that could last months in case of supply disruptions. Behind-the-scenes diplomacy is underway with US health officials, working through technical details and exploring workarounds. There's no public confrontation, no dramatic statements, no Twitter wars, just quiet containment and careful planning. Canada knows that Trump thrives on public conflict, so they're denying him the spectacle he wants. This strategic silence is Canada's greatest strength. While Trump tweets and threatens, Canada prepares. They're building defensive systems without giving Trump the reaction he's looking for. On July 7th, Trump sent formal tariff letters to Japan and South Korea, announcing 25% tariffs on all exports starting August 1st. But these weren't delivered through normal diplomatic channels. Trump announced them publicly on Truth Social, treating crucial allies like adversaries. Both Japan and South Korea are key allies, militarily and economically. Japan hosts thousands of US troops and is a crucial partner in containing China. South Korea is on the front lines of the North Korean threat and relies on US security guarantees. The market reaction was immediate and brutal. Nissan dropped 5%, Toyota fell 25%, Honda declined 5%. These aren't just numbers, they represent billions in market value wiped out in hours, jobs threatened, and business relationships shattered. These weren't just letters, they were warnings, from ally to adversary in one social media post. The message was clear: even America's closest allies aren't safe from Trump's tariff warfare. The damage to trust is immeasurable. How do you maintain military alliances when economic warfare is the default? How do you coordinate on China when the US is simultaneously attacking your economy? Trump's strategy is to force every country into one-on-one bilateral deals. No more multilateral agreements. No more global trade frameworks. Just America versus everyone else. Individual negotiations where the US can leverage its economic power. This is the same strategy Trump used with steel and automotive tariffs, now applied to medicine. The goal is to create maximum pressure on individual countries, forcing them to choose between their own interests and access to the American market. But Treasury insiders admit there's a fundamental problem: the US doesn't have the bandwidth to manage 100+ customized deals simultaneously. Each country has different economic structures, different pharmaceutical industries, different regulatory systems. Creating individual agreements for every nation would require massive bureaucratic resources that simply don't exist. Trump just dropped a 200% tariff bomb on global medicine. It's not just about trade anymore. His August 1st ultimatum could derail global healthcare, alienate allies, and leave America dangerously isolated. Allies are panicking. Australia's furious. Canada is silent but bracing. And with just days left until the deadline, the world is on edge. The result is a chaotic, unpredictable tariff matrix where nobody knows what rules apply to whom. It's not just protectionism, it's pressure diplomacy, and it's backfiring spectacularly. What was meant to bring jobs home may end up breaking alliances instead. Countries are being forced to choose between access to American markets and their own economic sovereignty. Many are choosing sovereignty. Canada didn't receive a tariff letter because they're already deep in trade talks, but Trump has made his expectations clear: reach a deal by July 21st or face automatic tariffs. The pressure is enormous. Prime Minister Mark Carney's response has been masterful in its restraint. Instead of rushing to meet Trump's artificial deadline, Carney is using silence as a weapon. He's refusing to be rushed, refusing to make desperate concessions. Carney's strategy focuses on mutual strategic value beyond just trade. He's offering cooperation on China containment, labor protections, and border security. The message is clear: Canada is valuable to the US, for reasons beyond pharmaceutical tariffs. Markets initially rose on optimism that a deal was imminent, but Carney hasn't budged. He's betting that Trump needs Canada more than Canada needs to cave to Trump's demands. While Trump yells and threatens, Carney waits, and waits, because every second he doesn't move, the pressure flips back onto Trump. The August 1st deadline becomes Trump's problem, not Canada's. Trump wants a photo op and a quick victory. Carney's playing the long game, betting on American pragmatism over Trump's theatrics. August 1st represents either a negotiated settlement or a healthcare disaster. Markets are betting on quick deals, but the political reality is more complex. Canada's economy is already showing signs of stress. PMI indicators are down, aluminum exports are declining, and US firms are cutting forecasts. But political patience is different from market patience. Politicians can withstand short-term economic pain if the long-term strategic benefits justify it. If Trump follows through on his threats, the first casualties won't be foreign governments, they'll be US patients, hospitals, and healthcare companies. Pharmaceutical tariffs could impact hospital supply chains, insurance systems, and patient access to medications. Even US lawmakers and pharmaceutical lobbyists are worried. This isn't just about economics, it's about lives. When you weaponize medicine, you're not just hitting trade balances, you're hitting people who need medication to survive. American hospitals could face shortages, American patients could see prices spike, American pharmaceutical companies could lose access to crucial raw materials. The healthcare system that Trump claims to be protecting could become the primary victim of his own policies. Trump's tariffs are more than economic policy, they're geopolitical weapons designed to force compliance through economic pain. But allies are responding in ways Trump didn't anticipate. Australia is choosing confrontation, standing firm on principles rather than bending to pressure. Canada is choosing containment, building defensive systems while maintaining diplomatic channels. Japan and South Korea are shocked and blindsided, forced to reconsider their entire relationship with the US. Meanwhile, China watches silently from the sidelines, benefiting from every fractured alliance. Every ally that turns away from America is a potential partner for China. Every broken relationship is an opportunity for Chinese influence. The long-term risk is that the US becomes isolated rather than empowered. Trump's ultimatum may bring factories home, but it's sending allies away. And in a world where China is actively building alternative economic and political systems, losing allies is a strategic disaster. When medicine becomes leverage, allies become rivals, and August 1st could be the day global trust dies, one tariff at a time. Should America use tariffs as leverage in healthcare? Has this crossed a line from legitimate trade policy into something more dangerous? The answer depends on whether you believe economic warfare is an acceptable tool of diplomacy. Trump supporters argue that America has been taken advantage of for too long, that bringing pharmaceutical manufacturing home is a national security imperative worth any cost. His critics argue that weaponizing healthcare destroys the international cooperation necessary for global health security. What's clear is that the world is watching. Every ally is making calculations about their future relationship with America. Every potential partner is weighing the risks of dependence on a country that uses economic warfare as a primary diplomatic tool. The August 1st deadline approaches, and the world waits to see whether Trump's tariff warfare will reshape global healthcare or simply reshape global alliances in ways America never intended. If you thought the trade war was over, think again. This is just the beginning of a new era of economic warfare that could fundamentally change how America relates to the world. Should Trump use tariffs to bring drug production home, even at the cost of allies? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. We're tracking every move leading up to August 1st and beyond. The next few weeks will determine whether America emerges stronger or more isolated than ever before. Don't miss a single development in this unfolding crisis.